Hello and welcome. My name is Seshu and I'm part of DVCOM support and training team. In this video, I'm going to show to you how to configure the VLANs in Vigor switch PQ2200xb, and also I'm going to show it to you how to enable the routing between the VLANs. So basically this is like a layer 3 switch. So in this layer 3 switch you can configure the virtual interfaces for every VLAN. So basically if you don't have a layer 3 switch, what we are going to do, you can see here, for example, let's take my whiteboard. Okay, you can see here, let's take I have a layer 2 switch in my network. So basically whatever VLANs you want to do, you can configure it here. Let's say this is my layer 2 switch and I configured VLAN number 10 and I configured VLAN number 20 and I configured VLAN number 30. After configuring that, we are going to shift the ports according to your requirement. So basically this layer 2 switch, it doesn't have a routing capabilities. That time what we are going to do, we are going to take a router or we are going to take a firewall. So this router, what it will do, which is going to connecting to your layer 2 switch directly, and in the switch what we are going to do, the port which is connected directly, we will configure it as a trunk. In the trunk we are going to allow all these VLANs 10, 20 and 30. So we can call it as a tag. So we are going to tag all these VLANs. Okay, and in the router what we are going to do, we will configure gateway for VLAN number 10 like 192.168.10.1. So we can call it as it's like a virtual interface that we are going to enable it, and we are going to tag the VLAN number 10 for that virtual interface, and we will assign the IP address as a 10.1. So similarly what we are going to do for 20.1, we will configure gateway for VLAN number 20, and we are going to tell to the router for VLAN number 20 the gateway is 20.1. Similarly we are going to configure 30.1 as the gateway for VLAN number 30. So basically you are going to do like this. Why? Because since it's a layer 2 switch, it doesn't have a routing capabilities, right? And also in case if you want to configure DHCP, you can't do it at the layer 2 switch, right guys? And you are going to configure the routing as well as DHCP as well as virtual interfaces, everything you are going to configure in the router. That's what you are going to do. So in case if VLAN number 10 wants to talk to VLAN number 20, so all the way the information will send it to the router, because router is acting as a gateway for VLAN number 10 and router is going to reroute this traffic to VLAN number 20. So this is how it's going to forward it. But again, if you have a layer 3, the advantage is that, let's move back to my previous one. So the advantage here, the layer 3 switch, it does the routing. So you can configure the VLANs, you can configure the routing, you can enable the virtual interfaces, we can call it as a SVS, you can say software virtual interfaces as per the number of VLANs, and you can enable the routing between them, and you can configure the DHCP as well. So that's the advantage guys. So right now what I'm trying to do now, in my previous videos if you go through it, you already knows that how to configure the VLANs and all, but still I'm going to show it to you, especially in the DrayTek. So these steps are common for all your DrayTek switches guys. In case if you see in the DrayTek portfolio, there is a layer 2 switches and layer 2 plus switch. Okay, layer 2 and layer 2 plus. So the plus is indicating that this switch can do switching as well as routing. That's the beauty of the DrayTek. Okay, so that in the routing what you can do, you can enable the routing between the VLANs, you can configure the virtual interfaces, and you can enable the DHCP as well. Those things we are going to see in this video. Let's go and have a look. So the first thing is that I'm trying to access my DrayTek switch. So I believe the IP address of DrayTek switch is 192.168.1.12. That's the 1.11. I'm sorry, it's a 1.11. You can see here, just you can type it in the browser, then you can able to see it. Then after that, type the username as admin and type the password as admin. Then click login. So as I told you earlier guys, in case if you want to do the firmware upgrade or if you want to change the IP address, you just come to system maintenance and come here and go to general, and from here you can able to see the device information. In case if you want to change, you can do that, what's the name you want it, or if you want to change the time and date settings, you can do it from here. And in case if you want to take the backup of your configuration, or if you want to upgrade the firmware, everything you can do it from here. And also access management, I already told you guys, by default the DHCP is enabled for this. Be careful. In case if you keep the switch into the the DHCP environment, you just brought the new DrayTek switch and you connected directly into the customer network, and in the customer network already the DHCP is running. So by default your switch is going to pick one of the IP address from your DHCP pool. So it's be careful, because maybe you can see that some of the documents it mentioned that the default IP address of your DrayTek switch is 192.168.1.224, right? So you are trying to access that, but unfortunately you are not able to get. So the reason that because it's enabling the DHCP, due to that it picked the IP address from your DHCP pool. So keep in your mind. So always I recommend that don't keep it as a DHCP, always keep it as a static, because the IP address, if something get changed or something happen, so if you are trying to access your switch, you can't, because again you need to do some kind of software, so you need to install it, and you need to scan in your entire network, and you need to identify it. So my recommendation is that always when you are going to production, just keep it as a static, but here in my lab environment I just keep it as a DHCP. It's okay for me. Yeah, so the default IP address is 192.168.1.224, and the default username is admin and default password is admin. So these are the default credentials for all the DrayTek devices, guys. Yeah. So the second thing is that now I just want to show it to you where we are going to configure the VLANs. Already I configured 3 VLANs. So if you want, I'll show it to you again. Just go to the configuration and click on the VLAN setup. So you guys can see here the VLANs already configured 10, 20 and 30, and this is the default VLAN, guys. This is the default VLAN and the name is default and the VLAN type is default, so that this default VLAN by default it's there from the factory itself. Whenever you purchase a new switch from DrayTek, by default VLAN number 1 and voice VLAN and surveillance VLAN, but there is no VLAN IDs. In case if you have a voice environment, you can just go and click the edit button here and you can assign that. You can see here, I'll show it to you now. Just click on edit and you can see here voice VLAN, just enable it, and what is your voice VLAN ID, you can select it. Okay, so that it's going to take the priority. In case if you want to add the OUI, organization unique identifier, you can take the first 6 digits of your MAC address and you can add it here. So this is very simple, guys, straightforward, and this is for especially for CCTV. Okay, just enable it in case if you are connecting your NVR or if you are connecting your any IP cameras which can support ONVIF, then it's automatically detect here, and you can see that you can tell them to your switch this is related to your camera network. But right now if you want to create a normal VLANs and all, you can create it from here. Just click on add and create the VLAN. So for you, I just want to show it to you in this video. Just you can say test, the VLAN name is test, and you can click on OK. There you go, the VLANs is created now. The next step is that, as I told you, that go to layer 3 network. So basically I just want to create virtual interfaces for every VLAN. Why? Because this is layer 3 switch, and this switch itself is going to act as a gateway for every VLAN. So that's why should I send my traffic all the way to router? So I'm going to create the gateway for each and every VLAN in my layer 3 switch itself. How you can do that? Just click on add. Then you can see your comment. I can say that this is for VLAN 10. Okay, let's move my pen a little bit down, guys. Yeah. Then VLAN ID you can choose. This is for 10. So what's that? 192.168.10.1. What's your subnet mask? It's a 255.255.0. And what's the DHCP server? So if you want, you can enable it. Then start your IP address. I want to start from 192.168.10.11. And IP pool count, I just need only 20 IP addresses. And lease time is unlimited or limited. Okay, let's movement unlimited. And gateway 192.168.10.1. Then DNS server 4.2.2 8.8.8. So in case if you want to configure any options, you can just click on options here. Like, you know, some vendors, you know, especially if you want to identify those IP addresses or those access points like option 43 or option 150, those things you can configure it from here. So anyway, it's fine for me. These are the settings. So far what I did, I configured the virtual interface for VLAN number 10 and I enable the DHCP. Then you can click OK. Now you can see here, I'll get a nice message like thank you, like that. So just wait for me now. Yeah, thank you so much. Click OK. Then after that, you want to add one more virtual interface for VLAN number 20. Just click on add. Then this is for VLAN 20. Let's edit this. Thank you DrayTek. No need to type again and again. Just type 20. Then I want to add it for 20. Then see here, it came here in management 192.168.20.1 285.285.285.0. I don't want to enable the DHCP, so simply say OK. Now just wait for a few seconds, then it's going to send the confirmation like OK. So thank you so much. Then after that, you can see here, very nice guys, you can see whether the DHCP is enabled or not, or disabled. And also, what do you mean by relay? Relay is nothing but, let's say that you have a DHCP server which is sitting somewhere else, then you can just tell them that this is the IP address. Basically in Windows environment, if you have a Windows server and all, there we can configure the DHCP scopes for each and every VLAN. Just we can tell them, hey, you want the IP address for VLAN number 30, go and talk to your DHCP server, they will give it to you, like that. Okay, now I have configured this, and in case if you want to configure for VLAN number 30, do it as well, that's not a problem. So this is for VLAN number 30, and you can select the VLAN ID is 30, and I just want to specify 192.168.30.1/24. Then say OK. I don't want to enable the DHCP here as well. So once you click OK, then you will get a confirmation from the switch. Thank you so much. Then after that, I want to configure the one more virtual interface. Then you can say this is for VLAN number 40. So say 40 and select here the VLAN ID is 40. The IP address is 40.1. And the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. I'm sorry, you can see here the relay, it's asking that who is the IP. Okay, let's give one temporary IP address, guys. Okay, so I just want to say 10.5. But again, keep in your mind, if your belongs to VLAN number 40, you want to talk to 10. Let's say my management VLAN is 20, right? I just want to specify 20. Then you can say okay. Then after that, what it will do, there should be a VLAN routing between this VLAN number 40 and VLAN number 20. That's very important. That's what I'm going to show it to you. So far what I did, guys, I have configured 4 VLANs. Then after that, I have configured the virtual interfaces for every VLAN, because these virtual interfaces are going to act as a gateway. Then after that, I enable the DHCP for a couple of devices, and also I show you how to enable the relay as well. Now I just want to enable the routing. So for the routing, just click on the VLAN routing. Then after that, you want to enable the routing. Yes, I want to enable it. And you can see here VLAN routing is enabled. Now you can see here something surprise, guys. Static route. Okay, just you can see here, say okay now. So click on the edit. So for any unknown traffic where you want to forward it. So you can able to specify through which VLAN you are going to specify. So the choice is yours. So let's say this is my management VLAN. Let's say this is something tricky, guys. I want to show it to you something here. You can see here, most of the people, they have a doubt here. Say, Shu, why did you select VLAN number 20? It's very simple, man. It's no need to think much here. See here, this is your DrayTek switch, and my management VLAN is 20. Agree? So now what I am going to do for unknown traffic, because 20.1, let's say this is the interface which is connected on my router. This is my router, and router is connected to internet, right? So now what I'm going to do, this port, let's say this is port number 10. Okay, this port number 10, let's keep it as a port number 10, and this port I kept into VLAN number 20. For VLAN number 20, what I did, I configured the gateway as 20.1. okay, and a couple of ports, what I will do, because maybe some ports, this is port number 1 and this is port number 2, this is port number 3, right guys? So let's say this port number 1 I kept into VLAN number 10, this port number 2 I kept into VLAN number 20, port number 3 I kept into VLAN number 30. I can do that, right? As per my requirement, I can shift the ports according to my requirement. So this port number 10 I kept into VLAN number 20. Now what is the gateway for VLAN number 20? The gateway which I configured is 20.1, right? Now what I did, the router, the port which is connected on port number 10, I kept into VLAN number 20. Okay, so I'm going to tell my switch, in my layer 3 switch, any unknown traffic, means basically the guy who is sitting here for VLAN number 10, and he said that I want to ping 4.2.2.2, right? So as per your router, means as per your layer 3 switch, he knows about 192.168.10.0, 20.0, 30.0 and 40.0. Only he knows about these 4 networks, but the request has come from, request is coming for 4.2.2.2, right? It's a different network. It will check in the routing table of the switch. It will say, hey, I want to go for 4.2.2.2, but your switch is saying that I know 10, I know 20, I know 30, I know 40, but I don't know about 4.2.2 network. That time your default route is going to say, if you want to go for any unknown network, as you know that this 0 network is for default, right? Then any mask, then I am saying that go to 20.2. Who is 20.2? Then I am going to configure it here, 20.2 is here. You understand guys? So that any unknown traffic is going to send it to your router. Then router, what it will do as per the configurations, and it will send it back to your ISP. When the request has come from your ISP, your router is receive it. But again, the problem is here, your router doesn't know where to forward it. So that what you have to do, you need to write a reverse route. You are going to say, hey router, if you want to go to 10 network, or if you want to go to anyway 20 is directly connected, if you want to go to 30 network, or if you want to go to 40 network, your next hop is 20.1. You need to learn these things guys. Yeah, you need to write like this. So that's why we need to write this default route. So most of the people, they think, hey man, where to do this default route, because as we know that we came from different background, and make sure that router 1 or router 2 is connected and they have a layer 3 interfaces, right? Layer 3 interfaces, so that you can able to say the next hop is this, like that. But here it's a switch, but in this switch we cannot shift the layer 2 interface as a layer 3. So if you want to do that, you need to do like this, right? So let's go and do it now. So I'm going to say, hey, any network, and you just use the interface as my VLAN number 20. Okay, then you can just specify it. You understand guys? Or else if you want to specify the gateway, and simply what you can do, I can say that 20.2. I can specify that. Okay, then you can click save. Now you can see here there is a message will come up, and it's going to say 20.2 is my next hop. Or else if you want to add another static routes, if you want, you can add it as well. So that's the beauty of the DrayTek guys, because any unknown network, for example, I don't want this. Okay, let's reset this. Okay, I remove that, and I can say that click on edit, and I want to go through my virtual interface, which is VLAN number 20. Say save. Now you can see here any traffic which is going through your VLAN number 20, and who has connected there? The router has connected there. That's what you are going to do guys. Yeah, I hope this is very informative guys, because whenever you are trying to configure it, especially layer 3 switch in the DrayTek, these are the steps that you need to follow it. So I just want to give you a final summary. So far what we did, we configured the VLANs, then after that we went to the layer 3 network, then we enabled we configured the virtual interfaces, as well as we enabled the DHCP, then finally we configured the routing. And also one more thing is here, bind to IP address, in case if you want to maintain the MAC to IP, if you want to do a binding, click on IP address and MAC address, so that even if you reboot or something happen in your network, when the switch has come back, immediately you will get the same IP address. You have nothing to worry about it. So this is what you are going to do it guys. Yeah, please follow my YouTube channel guys, so that you will get a lot of useful videos. Okay, and in case if you are in Dubai and you want to see a demo for our switches, and you want to know how our switches are going to work, please send us an email, sales@datavoice.com. For support, please send us an email support@datavoice.com. I hope this has been informative and I would like to thank you for viewing.